Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 118 of Be With Me. We're going to jump into the Beatitudes. It's in two places in the Bible. One is in Matthew chapter 5. The other is in Luke chapter 6, and we're kind of going to go back and forth with just a single verse today. So what the Beatitudes do is throw all convention, all current modern thinking on its ear, and it asks this question: what is your friend if you're a friend of Jesus? That is, what assists you if you're a friend of Jesus, as opposed to what hinders you? Or what are your assets? What are the things that you got in the bag versus things that may be dragging you down and be a liability? So if we're believers and if we're under his gaze, as it says, what may help us sort of get to the kingdom? Now, all these things are disturbing. All of them are unsettling. All of them are, they sort of knock us down. But there's something that's worse, and that is if we don't hear from the Lord, if we don't have his gaze and his word, that's worse. So if you're unsettled, that's good. There's a worse thing, and that's not hearing from God at all. So some of the things that are listed, poverty and hunger and weeping and hate, they can actually be of our benefit. So these things that, on first blush sound bad, sound harmful, and other things like riches and satiation and laughter and people speaking well of us, they can actually be dangers to us or woes to us. So we have to find the things that move us away from God and get rid of those, and find the things that move us towards God. So he kind of redefines some of these things. It's poverty of something, it's hunger for something, it's weeping over something or someone. So it requires new eyes and ears. So this recalibration, Lord, help us with that. So today, chapter 5, seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That's from Matthew. In Luke chapter 6, it says, "Blessed are you who are poor." It doesn't say poor of spirit. So let's talk about blessedness first of all. Blessedness, I got this from my study Bible, is a state of well-being of relationship with God. Doesn't just mean, hunky-dory happy. It's a state of peace amongst a relationship between you and God. And then the idea here today is what gets us there. If it's not poverty, as it says in Luke chapter 6, it's at least the posture of poverty. So that's really what I'm thinking about today, is this posture of poverty. So let's talk about what that's not. It's not, hey, I've got this, I'm okay, believe in yourself, I did it my way. And we hear all those things very commonly in our world today. In God's economy, in the country of God, in the values of God, in the God likeness, it's a heart that prepares him room. It's a heart that makes room for him. It's a heart that says, maybe I don't have this. Maybe I need the Lord, rather than one that says, I've got this. So poverty may bring those things. So actually, financial poverty, it says that wealth in our world separates us from pain and separates us from discomfort, and maybe even separates us from unpleasant people. And we know that the Lord has a heart for the widow, and heart for the orphan, and heart for the sojourner. But he also has a heart for the bondservant and those that are indebted. So the posture of I have no needs, a wealth posture is how it could be pictured, but think of it spiritually. I have no needs, and I have no needs for you, or I have no needs that I cannot self-meet. This is not not the way that God would have us posture our hearts and our minds. I think he wants us to move more towards, hey, I could be wrong about this. I may have not have walked well, and maybe more than just like theoretically, how about I am wrong and I haven't walked well, that I am separated from the Lord, I am sick, I am in need of a physician. So if we posture ourselves in that way, I think we get an immediacy and an urgency and I think he wants us to have a posture of poverty, and specifically a posture of poverty from self-sufficiency. So I think the Lord, is not so happy when fat and happy people come to him. I think he wants the hungry and the weary and the wounded. I think we need to be a lot closer to calling 911 or calling out or crying out than a posture of self-sufficiency. I once had a friend call me from 500 miles away asking, after he described his symptoms to me, if he should go to the hospital. And I think that's kind of the posture the Lord would want us, like, hey, I may be in trouble here. So a person with no money may represent this. Now, I know you can have no money and be selfish and hard of hearing and not picture this. And I think that's why Luke talks about money, but Matthew talks about being poor of spirit, because it's more than just not having money. It's having this posture of poverty. All right, so then the other side of this is, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom. So that not only that is we get a kingdom. Wait a minute. So if you know you have nothing, you get everything. If you know you need help, you get this big assist from the Lord. So my prayer today is, Lord, make me poor in spirit, or better yet, I'm already poor in spirit. I just don't know it. Help me realize that I am poor in spirit. Help me be close to calling 911. Help me know that I am wrong and sick and weary, because these are things that God loves. And when I realize I have little, he gives me everything. You get a kingdom. Thanks for listening.